the nightmares, they are part of you. The threatening entity in your nightmare is mostly yourself, different part of yourself in confrontation. You should not try to destroy it. A more conscious way to deal with it would be to embrace it, to embrace your contradiction for your different parts, reach a better unity.
I'm Thomas, and this is the Mirror in Mycell. Welcome back to the second half of my conversation with Robert.
If you are in front of an uncomfortable situation, you have three choices. You can either change the situation, you can leave the situation, or you can accept it. Any other choice is just madness. And all through the time I spent in prison, I thought about this. And so I could, in a way, change the environment of prison. I could make people smile around me. I could try to adopt another point of view about my situation. The situation is the same. I'm in prison, but maybe I could have another attitude about this experience. That's all I could change about prison. I could not change the decoration, for example. I could not change the environment itself, but I could change some things, at least my point of view about it.
How did the people around you respond to you kind of like having that attitude towards it?
Half of the prisoners hated me for it, and half of the other half really liked me for this. Like, you know, if I had to clean some shit trench, like some shithole, I would do it while singing jazz, man. I'm sorry, but if I have to do something, I'm gonna try to enjoy the process. If I don't want to do something, I'm not doing it. It can be naive and it's very hard to do, but that was a good practice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was kind of doing the same. I did a lot of dancing in prison. Like, we have the radio, and I was doing a fair bit of dancing, and people were like, you know, you're in prison. Like, this is prison.
Well, yeah, but are you happy? No. So leave, leave. Oh, you can't? Then be happy. Then if you have to be here, be happy. But most of people like who had the people who had the harder time in prison were the one who didn't accept. With every day, like rambling, like, oh, I should not be here. It's a mistake and all. Man, you've been here 15 years. You have life or death sentence. You're still here for at least 15 years. You're still going on like this, like every day, living in regrets and in the past and all. Like it eats yourself and it brings you like ulcers, you know, like it eats your stomach from the inside and all. And you need to accept.
Totally.
One of the best things that happened to me also, Tisha, she managed to give me a couple of books that she grabbed randomly on a shelf in my room. One of them was a book from Stéphane Laberge about lucid dreaming. I never read it. And there was no better place than there to experience it. It was mind-blowing. I practiced. So it was forbidden, of course. It was forbidden to have a pen, to have anything to write or whatever. So, but I never stopped writing in there. I never stopped drawing. I got a couple drawings out from that time that I smuggled thanks to a guard. I needed to pay him and all, and he managed to smuggle it and to send it to my girlfriend. Like,
wow!
But this book changed my life also at that moment.
Crazy.
I rarely take time to have to experience lucid dreaming outside, but in there, it was the perfect space.
Wow!
So the book was really ABC to how to practice lucid dreaming. What's the use of it and all, and it helped me escape.
Wow! What were you trying to dream about? What were you?
Well, the one, I don't know why I kept dreaming about water. Me swimming, me breathing underwater, but a lot of water. A lot of erotic dreams also. I guess that's very natural. And me flying, me talking to friends. I had this nightmare that kept occurring, kept coming to me, something about knives. Every time I woke up after some street fights or things like that with feeling that I got stabbed in the stomach or whatever. And then later on, I tried to apply what was in this book, Lucid Dreaming. He was saying that the nightmares, they are part of you most of the time. The threatening entity in your nightmare is mostly yourself. And the nightmares are often different part of yourself in confrontation. And you should not try to destroy it, because a higher, how to say, a more conscious way to deal with it would be to embrace it, to embrace your contradiction, for your different parts to reach a better unity. So I don't exactly know why I was mad at myself, but I think it was part of me that I felt guilty about something and always stabbed me until the night I remembered, hey, wait, I'm being followed by a hobo with a big knife. And I remembered, okay, this is a dream. Like after 10, maybe 20 of these nightmares, I told myself, next time I'm in front of a knife, it must be a nightmare. So I took it. I made a reality check to see if I'm in a dream or not. The safest one is to try to read. In your dreams, you cannot read. Okay. Like letters are not stable.
Yeah.
And then I took his knife and just stabbed myself. And you see, it's okay. I know it's a dream. No, what are we doing? Hey, look down there. There is an apple pie. Let's eat it. Yeah. I take his knife. I start cutting the knife, and he pulls some Chinese alcohol, some baijiu on the pie, and we start biting in it. And I woke up laughing with open throat and with the smell of the alcohol in my nose.
Crazy.
And then
so I mean, you were learning how to approach your demons and like the most painful parts of your life through your dreams and something.
Yeah, but also it's also a matter of willpower to control your dreams or to direct them. It's a lot a matter of willpower, which I kind of lack. So yeah, every time I tried to have some certain dreams, maybe I just went with the flow, or the dreams were not stable, especially the one where I really tried to, how to say, to discover some parts of myself, asking myself some question, my subconscious, some question, like what, for example, I want to meet God, or what's the goal of life, or whatever. A very few times I was able to ask the question, and never had a clear answer of it. I could see, for example, the lips of my father speaking, but I could not hear any sound, for example, as if I was not ready yet. Which is the case. Like at first, dreams are supposed to be playground, and it's counterproductive to try first to reach higher goals if you didn't have fun at first. And if once you get you have enough of it, like, okay, I had sex flying with 3 women in the galaxy, in the middle of the stars and all. After that, okay, like your pulsions are, you can go, you can pass this step and go towards something, to a higher goal. But and you don't feel tired, because when you have a good time in your dreams, when you sleep, when you wake up, like for your brain, it was real. So you feel really good.
Yeah, for me, it was like I was not in control, and it was the escape as well. It was the time where I got to leave prison, was in my dreams, but like so often my headspace was so, I was just
busy.
so burdened by it. I mean, there was often.
Yeah, well, it was 2 months, so you didn't really have time to digest also, and to.
I'm sure that would have been an area of exploration, but I remember just like every dream had something to do with prison, or there was always some way that I couldn't leave. I would wake up crying sometimes from what had happened in the dreams. Like,
something that helped me, maybe accepting the fact that I would spend at least a couple months in there, is also that before I got arrested, I was already thinking of, like, I felt the need to grow my roots, to center myself. And I was thinking maybe I'll go in some monastery or something for a couple months, for 1 or 2 months. Like I need this time. Like I wanted to do some Vipassana retreat. I knew I needed a reset. So I took this experience as an opportunity also. So yeah, in the detention center, during the day, I was just keeping my head busy with learning Chinese. drawing people,
Mm,
showing them some magic
okay.
tricks, writing songs and poetry, all these kind of things. And during night, I was busy dreaming.
Mm. And was that way before we how did you'd obviously spent a lot of time in China and a lot of time thinking about, like, the Chinese psyche, the Chinese language, the Chinese system.
Uh-huh.
What how was that complemented by being inside of a prison, being so close to Chinese people and also in yeah, on so deep inside the Chinese system?
When I got arrested, I spent like 3, 4 years in China
Yeah,
already. It definitely helped me.
okay.
Like if I just arrived in China, I got arrested, I would have turned crazy
Yeah.
maybe. Like the attitude of other inmates toward me, the administration, how it worked, all of
Yeah,
this. Yeah, it was. I was not in such a foreign
yeah.
place, so yeah, I think it definitely helped me. Yeah.
Mm. And the hardness of that, like, it sounds awful, basically. It doesn't sound violent. Like, I think I remember you saying it's not the kind of like a Guatemalan prison or a Thai prison.
The violence was psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think it would have been worse to be in prison in Thailand, for
Mm.
example, or in Honduras for sure.
Mhm.
But there, the torture was psychological because not just me, but even Chinese people, you never know what's going to
Mm.
happen. Like the laws, for example, they change so fast.
Mm.
Okay, you were supposed to get 15 and to be able to cut 4 years, but now you'll be able to just cut 1 year.
Mm.
Or okay, you were supposed to leave next week. You got ready for it, but well, when we arrested you, you had a fake identity, and we need to release your real identity. So no, you're not going back to your home next week as we told you. You're gonna stay 1 more year here. Like what?
Crazy.
Like so? Yeah, these you need to accept what comes because you have no control over it. So whatever comes.
Mm.
One day at a time. Stop hoping too much. Don't make plans.
Yeah. And was that on some level, did you appreciate that? You said a second ago that, like, you realized how much progress can be made in the absence of comfort or how much closer you
Mm.
can be to being your
Well,
kind of highest
there's
form
also
of yourself.
the point of view that the same way when you travel. When I went back, for example, the second time to China alone, also, like being on the other side of the planet by yourself is such a great opportunity to see who you are because back home, so many things reflects you the same identity that is truly you or not. May it be truly you or not, but people around you, like your family, your friends, send you a picture of yourself.
Mm.
Maybe it's the same one than when you were a teenager, for example. You're trying to grow, to change, but they still send you this same image.
Yeah.
Maybe your materialistic possession. Oh, I'm the guy with a big car, or I'm the guy playing guitar. I'm the guy with this or with this kind of
Yeah.
clothes. Especially the clothes that are supposed to kind of represent also like your style, represent your identity, and all.
Mm.
And the environment also send you a specific image of
Yeah.
yourself.
Signal.
So cutting yourself from all of these things is an incredible opportunity to see what's left of you
Mm.
and kind of who. Like first, you can be really who you are. To change is much easier,
Mm.
and you see what's left for real. And that's what I saw in this prison.
Mm.
I was the same smiling monkey who was
Mm.
trying to yeah to showing magic tricks to people and to just yeah, I know that's who I am. I need to share with people, to learn things and to exchange with them.
Yeah.
I need to make them happy and to entertain them and to heal them if I can in a way or another, humbly, of course.
Mm. And that's a really powerful thing to understand about yourself, to like both that to kind of like shed those redundant stories which have been bundled up with you for a really
Mm.
long time from family, society, from education, and then at the same time to like find a deep truth about who you are. Like that's yeah. That's a really powerful thing.
But at some time, I think you also need to know, like once you know who you are, like not always deconstructing, if I can say so. Like you need to assume your identity at some point, and to not always being in the whatever attitude or in the I can be who I want or whatever. Like sometimes you need a fixed point, like boundaries, let's say so. You cannot concentrate something if it has no boundaries. You're just so
and then
malleable to the environment.
And then so how were you, could you say how you were kind of like dividing your focus between accepting who you are and also having an understanding of who you could be, what your potential could be, like learning Chinese or kind of like producing lots of writing or doing this lucid dreaming, like you're taking steps towards being a making yourself more the type of person that you want to be, but at the same time there is that need to kind of like accept reality.
Well, I met this it was a good friend of Tisha who had he had a Masseuse institute and also another one deep down in the mountains for meditation. I really created a strong link with them. I really loved the guy, and also he used to practice the same martial art, Yitzuan, that I used to practice in Toulouse. So like we had a lot of common point, and he was a fascinating being, really. And yeah, he summarized it well. One day I asked him to write a calligraphy for me, which he did, even though he's not a great calligrapher or whatever, but I wanted one from him. And he just gave me 2 characters, So-I, which means to concentrate, to bring back together, to protect the unity. And all along my adventure in prison, from the detention center to prison, I had a lot of time to think about like how I could bring together all my aptitudes and go in one direction. I still tend to dissipate myself because I want to do too many things. And if I just do one thing, like the thing I love the most is to give massages. And I know I'm very good at it. But humbly, of course, from the feedback I got, like I never had a bad experience with people like very good reactions. But I know if I only did that of my life, I would be tired of it. At least I need to be able to offer some activities to work with the kids also, because that's another thing I'm going to. It's not that I love the kids, but the kids love me.
Can't help it.
I'm just practicing something in the park and they jump at me, and here I am to teach freely for 2-3 hours and to the parents and the kids and show them how to play together and all that.
It's beautiful.
I definitely had a lot of time to think about it, like how to focus more, and I'm still struggling to manifest it for different reasons. Of course, like life was not that easy once I got back to France, for family reasons and all. But I still feel I'm on the verge of something, and little step by little step. I know you should not, like, big changes are never stable.
But I also think that I really like how you talk about protecting the unity as being kind of like one of the core ideas that you were cultivating in there, and not. I like how you kind of dodged my question even about like, about were you like trying to make peace with yourself, or were you trying to like become a better version of yourself? I like that you've dodged the question. It's much more about the unity and having a stable foundation to.
But I really went through the process of trying to, like, I remember I wrote 3 letters, if I remember well. One where I asked for forgiveness to the people I offended. One that I on another one I wrote the name of all the person that did wrong to me and that I forgave, even in like, I don't know, the guy who robbed me one night in Bordeaux, for example, hit me and robbed me or whatever. I forgave him too, like even if I have no reason to, maybe, but just let go all of this grudge and all of that. And one other letter where I said thanks to all the people I was grateful for. It sounds really hippie and kind of
No, not at all.
Spiritually, like, let's say, kind of self-management bullshit. But damn, was very, very powerful too. Yeah. And of course, on all these letters, my name was on it also.
And you wrote those letters for yourself, or those got sent out to the world?
I could not get anything out from the detention center anyway, so I just burned them, I think, or put them in the toilet.
Yeah. But that's such a powerful way that you talk. And I think that's been one of the biggest juxtapositions between how I used to think about myself and how I started to think about myself in prison. And is one of the things that going forwards, I see as like the basis for all of the positivity that my life will entail, is like you said about that unity. And I think a lot of that, and it sounds like it sounds like maybe you need to be reminded of that in some ways, like that being gentle with yourself and kind of like protecting the value that you know is inherent to you is the first step.
Definitely be gentle to yourself. You need to treat yourself softly.
It's the same.
That's not easy.
Yeah, but it's the same thing ultimately, to become a better version of yourself and accept who you are.
You need to be willing also too. And the people who went through prison, in the best way to me, were the one who were willing to change, and who were trying to change. Maybe exercising every night, or instead of just watching the TV in the prison, or just to read, just to, like, they knew it was an opportunity for them to do something they wish they did outside. And I think since my 20s, I'm trying to change. Like my life in Toulouse, where I was practicing intensively kung fu and learning Chinese medicine and all that, and that was, I think, one of my best life, because I was really inspired. I was very productive. I really liked my dynamic there. And since then, I kind of lost myself when I went first to China and stopped practicing intensively Chinese medicine. Then I met my girlfriend and all that. I kind of lost my goal there and lost my time. And and that's since then, I think I always tried to change from little step, and then going back to my bad habits, but still knowing that I needed to change. And that's the first step, even though I still didn't manifest it exactly. But I know that as long as I have this attitude, good things will keep happening to me, because for a change to occur, the first step is to be conscious of it. If you're if you are denying, well, things won't change. But if you are conscious of a problem, of something that needs to change, then the change will happen by itself. You don't even have to force it. And you will attract, also by the law of attraction, you will attract a lot of good person. You will like the person that you need. And you will realize that, oh, that's the book that someone just offered me is the one perfect for me. And he's singing this song. It's not coincidence for me. It's really the law of attraction. Without, I don't want to sound too mystical, but I think I kind of am.
Accidentally. I feel exactly the same.
Like, that it exists or that it doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever makes you happy, man. Like whatever makes you a better human being, go for it. And that's a conversation I really remember. I was so after the detention center, when I got to prison, a couple months later, there is this guy from I don't really remember the country. I think it was Rwanda, from the Africa, so a French-speaking country. It was written on his face that he was like eaten by regret, remorse, by grudge. He was holding on. He didn't let go. He didn't accept. And we had this conversation when he was trying to convince me that from birth to death to the cask, we were slaves. We never had freedom. And like you come to life. Nobody asked you, and then you have to obey your parents, and then you have to obey the law, and like the society force you to this, to that, to this, to that. And in my cynical years, or during my teenager years, I already had these thoughts and all of that. But so I was exchanging with him while he was trying to convince me. he was not even listening to what I had to say because I was just trying to bring him to adopt another point of view. Like maybe you still have a choice. At least, as I told you, you have the choice of the point of view. I'm in this situation, but I can look at it in a different way, and maybe it won't be as unbearable. And in the end of the conversation, I just say, okay, like it's been 2 hours, we're talking and you're not listening to me. And like, I get tired of you rambling like this, and it's becoming very negative on myself too. Like I don't enjoy this conversation either, but I believe that whatever are your beliefs, like you can believe that God is a pink unicorn, whatever, as long as it makes you happy and a better person for the people around. And obviously your beliefs right now, they don't make you happy right now. Like you look at yourself, feel yourself, like you are eaten, which is kind of sadistic to say, because it's not me saying this that he will say, oh yeah, maybe, okay, let's stop being sad. It's stupid to say that. Like, I feel like shit. Oh yeah, you telling me this, I feel like shit. Okay, I can just stop feeling like shit like this. But still, maybe just a little feedback will make him question himself if he has the will for it. Like if he wants to change. But if he thinks that anyway he's a slave, he has no word to say in there. Well, just you have to take it on your back, but stop complaining then, because that's what you got anyway. So,
were you thinking a lot about like privilege while you were there?
Obviously, I enjoyed some privileges. Like having a French passport is one of them. Something that people here tend to forget. I mean, here in France, because French people are very famous for like criticizing their country for the worst, for the best or the worst. Like I invite them to just go outside and see how is the world. But yeah, being French, like I wasn't treated as other Africans, for example. But no, I didn't have much privileges. Like when the consulate brought me some books, for example, when I arrived in prison.
That is the most French thing I've ever heard.
What?
To bring booze, did you say?
No,
books. I was imagining like some red wine for you. Okay.
So, no, prisons did change a lot also. Like in my detention center, because it was old, I still could find some cigarettes with some guards, which I paid like a tenth the price of it. So I never really bought any like more than 1 or 2 packs during these 11 months. But then they changed a lot, they modernized a lot, and even the guards were really under surveillance.
Oh, wow.
So no more favors toward, or at least big favors toward inmates. But some inmates were really protected, like especially locals. That's part of the Chinese culture. And the communitarism. If you come from the same region or the same city, then you have more rights than others.
And in a broader sense, were you thinking about privilege? Like if you're surrounded by these Rwandan people or people that have like committed crimes out of necessity because they're so poor or because they come from a fucked up family.
Yeah, okay. The privilege, there are some privileges I do not believe too much in. Like poverty to me is no excuse to be criminal. Even though it can push towards some in a direction, in the end you still have a choice. The privilege I felt I had, for example, education, which can be or not an exit door in prison, because happier people were the one, either the simple of mind, so they were too simple to worry too much or to see too far in the future, one day at a time. Or some people with education who had poetry in their mind, who had philosophy, who gave them some escape. But in the same time, like I feel like smart people are often depressive. I got a couple of philosophy teachers, for example, a friend of mine. They're all depressive and all alcoholics.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You're not even allowed to be a philosophy teacher if you're not depressed, I think.
It's part of the process. But yeah, maybe they understand better deep down what human is, and that's depressing. I don't know. But then I don't know, being white, for example, wasn't really like if you are white and blonde like I am. Yeah, people are curious about you, open-minded and all, more than if you have black skin, for example, maybe in China. But I make generalities here. I do not intend to say Chinese people are racist and all of that. But then, don't talk to me, don't speak to me about the white privilege, for example. To me, that's bullshit. And then I live like the two biggest communities in there were mostly people coming from Africa, mostly Nigeria, and Myanmar.
Okay.
People in Myanmar in such misery, man. They come in China to hustle, to do labor and to hustle there. Like, it's to say, like, they are less paid than Chinese laborers and they're happy with it. Yeah, I experience white racism there.
Yeah.
For sure.
I believe that.
Well, that's a white devil shit you're doing. What? Why are you always bringing that back to the color, man? Stop it.
But it's kind of I think that was one of the things that in it feels very of our times, the kind of like the psychological relationship with privilege and a guilt about how we behave in the world given all of the privilege that we have. But I think for me, that prison really ironed that out for me in lots of ways, or made me accept a lot more. I think before, my life it wasn't like based around guilt, checking my privilege, but it was, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't unaware of the position I was in to be able to do the things I could do or act in the way that I was acting, but almost to the point where it became heavy or it disrupted the unity in some ways. I think obviously it's important to be aware, and it's obviously important to put yourself in context of what else is happening in the world.
I think you should be grateful for it, but not doing things like I felt guilty for at some point because I realized all the opportunities I had and that I missed in my life. For example, meeting some other people. I had the opportunity of attending the university, for example, or to whatever I wanted when I was a kid. And I felt guilty thinking maybe I didn't make the best out of it. Maybe I could have studied more. And I don't think it is a very positive way to be driven by. Like, as for example, oh yeah, you need to finish your plate because think about the poor African who has nothing to eat. You know, like the cliche things to say to a kid who cannot eat. That's not a good relation. He has to that's not a good relation he has with food. Then, like, you can be thankful about the food. Yeah, you have to be aware that some people are hungry, but don't eat for other people or don't do things. It's not bad. Yeah, I absolutely out of guilt. It's not bad. It can be a very good force, but I think there are purer form of willpower, for example, you could use.
Do you feel like you got insight about what your purpose was because of prison as well? Because I think that's quite tied to privilege in some ways. It's like, given that you've had all this, what are you gonna do next? Like,
I made some plans. I had time to live in the past 20 times. I like to look back at my life and to imagine 20 different futures. Definitely that was a chance to stop, to just press pause button to stop the life of all your obligations and the rhythm of the outside rhythm that dictates you what you need to do tomorrow, and to think just about that one question: what do I like? What do I want deeply? What not wants but desire? What is my soul craving of, and how do I feel I realize myself? I know it's by socializing and exchanging with people, fundamentally. And that was strange because it's a place where you are never alone, but you often feel lonely. Like the promiscuity with people, like I never been alone in a room, even to take a shit, for 3 years. That's crazy. So arriving in prison, the trial and all. I don't know if I need to go in the detail, but After 9 months in the detention center, I went to the trial. I'm looking like Jesus. I refused to shave my hair, my beard, whatever. I said, no, fuck it. I don't want to go there and look like a convicted person. I'm going there with my full hair. I see Tisha and some other friend from Capoeira and all sitting there. A little smile because they are sitting behind me, and then I try to behave well. And indeed, the judge gave me only three years.
Only 3 years.
3 years and 2 months because I had the 2 offenses. One being drug dealing, which I kind of contested, but I was like, okay, whatever. It's the same to you. Like I gave something to some people. Yeah, okay, call it dealing if you want. I didn't make any money out of it, but yeah. And one other was hosting people for drug usage. And for this one, I confessed it myself because I didn't think it would be a crime. And I didn't talk to my lawyer before. But when they were asking questions to me, like, yeah, so when they came to your place, yeah, they told me sometimes you smoke joints. Where was it? In the street or in your place? That was an offense. Fuck.
And were you, I find it crazy listening to you how little resentment you seem to have in your voice. Like you kind of acknowledge that fair enough, it was a crime, but like what a crazy way to treat another person. It's the Chinese government, like at least in the West, we increasingly talk about them in like authoritarian terms, but you don't, I feel no impulse in you to say
it's too heavy to carry, and I don't want to carry grudges and all. It's really too heavy. I don't need this. I feel I don't know. I don't know if it's even a conscious, but I listening to people being angry at either Chinese people, Chinese government, Chinese police, and all of that, I just find it silly. Because don't blame them if you are here. Like, okay, some of them, yeah, they had every reason to blame the Chinese government, Chinese law, because the reasons or the way they got arrested were just fucked up. You chose to be in China in the first place. Like, it's not your, I don't know, like maybe it's a sickness in some situations, but I always try to look at the situation in the bright side.
So there was no part of you
in a way that can bring me something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's challenging, so it will make me stronger. Or, okay, it's very unfair and that's fucked up from him to do that, but that's a good way for me to practice forgiveness and to just let it go. I think you have 2 main personalities. Some people who always think it's not their fault and the world is not, it's the fault is from the outside and it's not my fault and it's unfair. And some other people will always think maybe I could have done something, like you've been through a situation and for a whole week after, it's still here in your head and you still rewind it and try to change it. Oh, maybe I should have said that, or maybe I should have done this. Maybe I could have avoided the fight. Maybe I could have saved this person. And both have good and wrong sides. Like, the first case scenario, when you always think it's from the outside, well, you don't take shit you shouldn't take on your shoulders. Many things you have no control of it, so you need to accept it and no need to eat your head about it. The downside, though, is that these people will never grow, or at least much less, because they never think of how they could have act different. They never, they just don't try to act different. And the other way, which I think I belong to, is always thinking maybe I could have something better, maybe I should have changed something. It eats your head, like literally, like you just rambling ideas and thoughts, and sometimes you shouldn't, because as I said, like you don't have control over everything. You cannot behave well with everything. The guy is angry at you. It's not your fault. It's just his representation of you or whatever, but you know who you are and like, I'm full of love. Like, the guy has nothing to be angry with me. So it comes from him. Fuck it. But it helps you. This attitude, I think, helps you to grow a lot and to acknowledge the power you have on situations.
But I mean, were you with political prisoners at all? Was there?
Uh, no, I think they are sent to specific prisons.
Yeah.
Uh, there are some. No, 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 no.
Mm,
Most of them from detention center to prison. Most of them were arrested for a lot of them about prostitution,
yeah.
either because they went to some strange massage salons or because they own
Love
some.
massage.
For money, financial crimes, either like laundering
Yeah.
money, like I saw some mafia who started some gambling rooms and stuff like that.
But there was no. I'm just so impressed and concerned that you never kind of like you never took the Chinese government to be the a bad character in the story, or you never
No,
see.
I always reminded that I was a guest there.
Yeah.
I have no saying about their laws.
Mm,
Saying the same thing in France, like would be racist
yeah.
in the political correctness now, because there's even some people who ask, for example, for the right to vote for foreigners.
Mm,
How crazy is that in every other country to say that?
mm,
But in France, if you say no, it's wrong. You are a racist person.
yeah.
I'm I'm exaggerating just slightly, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
I understand what you're saying.
No, I always knew that for me it's normal. I have been a foreigner over there, a guest.
Mm,
It's normal that I do not enjoy as many rights than the
mm,
locals and that have more responsibilities. Let it be to represent French people.
mm,
And that's an interesting aspect I'd love to talk with you, like how I learned to love France over
yeah.
there, like living far from it. And like it started missing me, like the culture, the people,
Yeah.
even though I was very critical of it at first. When, as a good French people, very critical of France. When every time I had a discussion about it, I said, no, but France is not only Paris and romanticism and all, like their poverty, their crime, there are like a lot of unfair things and all. And then at some point, I looked at all these Africans people, like these Asian people who saw France as, yeah, romanticism, Paris, good food, and football, and all of this
Mm,
stereotype thing. And I was kind of jealous. Damn, I would love to see it the way you do,
yeah.
guys. Like, how come each one of you is proud of his flag,
Yeah.
but when it comes to French flag, if I take it out, if I have a shirt with a French flag, people will say I'm a fascist, a
Yeah.
nationalist. I'm like, at what point did we start to hate ourselves? And it's part of the, like, we don't have a French sense of community. People don't feel, I hate the term of nationalism because, yeah, it's kind of really about rejecting the
Yeah.
outside and all. But patriotism, I found patriotism very appealing
Mm,
because, yeah, it's about family. It's about, yeah, France is the place where I grew up. When, yeah, like
relocated.
France
Yeah.
gave me so much. If of my life, if I can go back to France instead of fleeing and choosing the
Mm,
easy way of expats, if I can go back there and make a living for myself and at least one more person, I will have win. I will have do my part.
mm,
I had this very patriotic feeling at some point
mm,
growing in my heart. Like I want to do my share for society and all. Like it's not fleeing a messed up country that you will save it. And right now, being back in here, it's not that easy to
yeah.
do, and I'm still hesitating. Like, is it too late already?
Or
Maybe I should just think of myself and the one I love, and that's all. Like, don't think too wild.
yeah. But that is a big topic, isn't it? Is patriotism imagining a better version and kind of like striving for an ideal and a better place to live, or is it being proud of what is? I mean, that we spoke about how that exists in an individual, but it's interesting as
It kind
well.
of links with what we were saying about
Mm,
privileges. In the way that it could be positive or negative in the way you look at it.
mm,
It's always good when it brings people together, but such feelings as guilt, as rejection,
mm,
So when you think about patriotism, people think, oh yeah, you want to reject what's outside. You just want to live with people like you. You know, it's not rejection. It's just first embracing, like stop feeling guilty for what you have and being grateful about it, which is a more positive attitude. And to make somewhere a beautiful place, you need to get along with each other and to have a common project, a common vision, a common ground. And I don't want to get too political about it, but I feel like if you want to build a beautiful place, well, borders are important. Like as for yourself, like if you don't have boundaries, we were saying, you cannot concentrate, you cannot control what's inside you. And if I have no boundaries, I will be way too much.
Lose myself maybe.
Yeah, in the outside world, especially for people living in the cities, you know, the rhythm really fast and all that. You from other people emotions also, which will affect you much easier. Having boundaries is like having roots. Like you're not moved by the big wind and the rhythm outside. You can focus on yourself. You are on your own rhythm. That's how I always look happy, even though everybody around is stressed or whatever. Like I don't stress neither, because would it be useful to me? No, then I just don't. Sometimes stress is good though. I force myself to be stressed, but it's hard to me.
I think that's kind of like, that's one of the ways into very important conversations that I'm excited about this project allowing for, because we basically ended up just talking about like geopolitics there, or kind of like national politics, but like you see that conversation has come about by like total internal examination and then being in such a unique, confined, personal situation, but it's there that you can almost realize bigger truths about what it is to exist together.
I think these would be very hard to realize if you never traveled. Traveling and seeing other cultures is because the foreigners that you meet in your country are not typical foreigners. They are kind of international foreigners. They don't have the same state of mind than like the Chinese you could meet in China are not the same one that you would meet everywhere in the cities or the countryside. They are not, of course, they are Chinese, but they moved outside of the country, which is, let's say, rare for Chinese people, even though they can move more and more. But same in the cities, in the big cities, I think the population is mostly international and has the same culture. Okay, there are some little differences here and there, but capitals all around the world, thanks to mondialization, they tend to all be the same now. The same products, the same music, the same TV shows and all.
Yeah. And did that affect then work in the opposite direction as well? Was there a point where on your return you started missing China or missing?
Terribly, man.
Really?
Terribly. For stupid things at first, like food, it was very hard for me to have a sweet breakfast after that, for example, French style, you know, with a jam and all that. Like I needed to make myself noodles and eggs. And even after 1 year, actually, when I came back to France, I already, like, as I was really trying to live as a Chinese person.
And even after prison, or were there things about prison as well that you kind of...
that I miss from prison?
Maybe.
The harsh life. As I told you, like comfort trapped me once I got out. For different reasons also, like mostly comfort and being able to behave as a warrior, let's say, and to have this need of feeding my mind, my soul with inspirational books and this need of escaping this hard reality. Like I really enjoyed how I managed to do it. And I was reading avidly, like everything I could, and I miss it. Yeah,
so it's more...
I bought myself a couple books I discovered in prison too. I met the right person in prison, really. Like we were exchanging lyrics from songs and
Wow.
books as if it were they were
Yeah.
treasures. Like if we were valuing them so much.
Yeah.
Music was incredible.
Yeah.
How I could do some music in prison. They had a little how to say, a room with mattresses where you put violent people on for them to
Okay.
calm down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Panic room or something.
rearranged one as a music
No
studio.
way.
Like prison gave me the opportunity to play the fucking Hotel California and this awesome solo in front of 4,000
Oh
person
my
on stage.
God.
That was for the for the good of the Communist Party. Like
Yeah.
all the shows, all the sculptures and things I did, like I created a lot of things there to put in their so-called museum.
Yeah. I'm just trying to hold on to that image of you doing that guitar solo from Hotel California in front of like 4,000 Chinese.
Adventure, man,
Yeah.
one day at a time, and adventure, like enjoying every part of it, like going from the section to the factory was awesome because I got to walk outside, even though we had to walk like military style and all,
Okay.
singing communist songs.
Oh my God.
It was crazy when I think back about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. But yeah, like to see the smile of a murderer, like looking like a child because he just saw a bird. He looked at me
Yeah.
with big eyes, and we could not understand each other because he could not speak nor English or Chinese, but we were talking with gestures and body language. And he looked at me with big eyes and say, "Oh, look, miming a bird," and all. The little joys like this, all of it. I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps you to appreciate little things for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
now it's never enough when you're outside. Oh, I could have a better car. I could have better this, better that.
so how were you thinking about your future whilst you were in prison? Did you have clear things that you wanted to achieve, or did you want to channel yourself in a certain
I
way?
tried to separate it with short terms and middle to long terms. Short terms, as soon as I went out, I wanted to visit Tisha, which is a Chinese born and raised in Jamaica.
Oh, wow.
So I knew as soon as I came back in France, I wanted to find a job to make some money, and just enough, which I did, just enough to go to Jamaica and to see her, to thank her, and to see if there were something to be made between us, but at least to thank her because we never been in couple, but she just been a tremendous friend. Like all along my time in prison, she sent me letters, pictures, drawing she made. She's an awesome artist.
Wow.
She sent me some videos also, like we could have through the intranet of the prison. Like it got through the filter of the prison, what was sent from the outside, and then we could receive some pictures on the computers or some videos. And I remember this one from Playing for Change. I don't know if you know this concept. It's musicians all around the world playing the same song.
Okay.
And this one, Playing for Change, with Benny Wailers playing I'm a Rebel from Bob Marley and the Wailers. I'm a rebel, soul rebel. So I received this and I was just smiling and crying because like music and novelty and new music were very rare in there. And it's crazy how music brings you outside because you remember what time the exact moment you discovered this song outside, what you were doing and all that. And as I was listening to this song and just kind of crying and smiling and laughing because it was so beautiful and thanking Tisha with all my heart, a queue formed behind me of many, many inmates waiting for their turns to take the headset, to sit and to listen to it. And they were jiggling from right to left with a reggae sound. And then with a big smile, they just passed the headset to the other person. And they just went away smiling, roaming in the corridors and singing the melody. And that's such a beautiful image I have in my mind. Like like Tisha doesn't know how many people she made happy with this song. And
amazing.
And yeah, that's what I love also, like about the prison life. You see first the need for people to keep the sense of humor and to joke. You need to have a second degree if you want to survive in there. Don't take things too seriously. It's just madness. It's just a game. This is not part of reality. Just take it as a joke. And also how so many different people, how we managed to get along with each other in a closed space. We were forced to live together, and we did it. Like I'd say better in the foreign section than in other Chinese sections. I don't know how. Could not explain exactly why, but we could get along with each other. Maybe because life was easier for us. We had maybe more comfort than some other sections. We were working maybe 1 hour less a day, but people from different confessions, from Christian to Muslims, from different ethnicity, even though they were like, we all could live with each other. It's not they were not racism. It's just people recognize the fact that everybody was racist, and that's fine. Not in a negative way, but yeah, I have stereotypes against you, and stereotypes are not based on nothing. There is a little part of truth because it's a generality, and it's fine. Just let's accept all of it and living with each other. And we made fun of it, of all our differences, and we could live with each other very well. And yeah, that was shocking outside. Like, okay, these people are free and they don't have to live with each other, but still, all these pictures. So to get back about when I got out, yeah, that's what I did. I came back. I don't know. I don't remember. It was the second or third lockdown. Poor of you guys. That's what I thought when I got back. And I really thought we're not so different. Like I remember really well being in Bayonne, meeting with some old friends and drinking wine near the river with and just partying, doing some music outside and all of that. And I saw all these people smiling at each other in the streets, even dancing on the cash register in the supermarket and all. It was insane. People just got out of prison, I thought. They really, like, they smile at each other in the streets. What's happening? Like, I never saw that. They're not supposed to do that. So in a way, I think it helped me, like, to feel not that different, to not feel that I missed so many outside. And also, like, thanks to all the letters I received from my friends, I kept my mind was still living on the outside with them. And I'm really grateful for this. Also, like, when I got out, throwing away my pile of letters, I realized how lucky I was, and all these people in there that got forgotten by their families. Because I only stayed there 3 years, but after 15 years, maybe people would not write to me so often. Maybe, like, a lot of them just didn't have anyone to write to them. So yeah, I got out. I treated myself nicely, like living the good life, getting to enjoy freedom, and yeah, I went to work.
So you didn't have like you weren't like, this is my mission now, or this is, I know that this is the thing that I want to do.
I lost some time there already because my mission was first to go to Jamaica. I really needed to see Tisha. So, which I did. And then it was kind of a long holiday. I stayed there for about 1 year, like a couple months, I think 8-9 months. And then I got back to France. Then I went back 1 month. But I was living a good life over there. Like after 6 months, like, yeah, when you are traveling alone, I was getting back with this feeling of adventure, of having all my senses wide open and living, I would not say for my survival, but like, you are alone on the other side of the planet, still no regret. Whatever I'm doing, I have no regret. And this was an awesome adventure. But in the end, I was kind of stuck in the loop, like not really knowing what I was doing there. And life was not that easy. Like on island in general, life is quite harsh. And as we were saying, big changes can never happen too fast, or they are not stable. They are not on the long term. And I think the way you really changed is the way you suddenly feel like, oh, I'm not like I used to behave on that moment. But you cannot say, okay, tomorrow, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be a total different person.
Yeah.
So yeah, one step at a time, and at least going every day, one step in your direction is already a lot to be productive and to fight against entropy.
Totally. You sound very, very zen, or you sound like you have a lot of things figured out.
Yeah, maybe it's because I stopped smoking weed also.
That might help.
But right now I'm back with my parents because they are moving house. So my mother being sick, like she has Alzheimer, so she lost all. She cannot be by herself. So while my father or me, like we take turns, but we prepare the house, the new house, making work and all of that. Until they move, I need to be there. What I would like to achieve is, I have a concept I came with that tries to make the link between internal and external balance. Internal would be like I would initiate people with internal balance with meditation or let's say yoga or internal Chinese martial arts. And the external would be mainly through slackline, to be more aware of their body, or to just look at the world, the reality through a yin-yang lens, for example, just for them to be healthy, to make them realize how wonderful your body is as a machine and how great power of recovery it has for you.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, Robin. It's been so nice speaking to you. That was like so much more wide-ranging than I expected.
Oh yeah, true. You will need to do some editing. But I really love the process, because having a conversation with someone is something that is palpable. It's not something in the midst in your head. It's something real. So thank you for that. Also, like with all these questions, I love to share. I feel no bad feeling, no grudge about that time, and I'm really happy to tell about that time and my experiences with people curious about it. But it really helped me to organize my head and to realize what happened. Like who I am now, how I changed, all the steps I went through. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And you've done. Thanks for listening to that episode of The Mirror in My Cell with Robin. Next time, on the 24th, I'm going to be posting an episode, which is one of my favorites so far, with Professor Paul Diop, who was taken hostage in Iraq for 6 months. Looking forward to seeing you there.